This video for CityMaas documents a journey via a number of public transport systems for a wheelchair user. The journey started at Brentford railway station. As you can see, there are lifts to both platforms. The only difficulty I had was pressing the lift buttons. I should also add that on the platform there's an information button, but that didn't work. Here you can see us trying to board the train, and clearly there's a problem with the ramp, so we had to use another door which wasn't the designated carriage for wheelchair users. Nonetheless, this was a very good train. The aisles were very wide, something I'd not seen before, and signage telling you which stops the train stopped at were very good and very clear. Arriving at Waterloo, you can see the ramp was ready, and I must admit that although I've read horror stories about people being left on and off trains, I've not had any problems. So from Waterloo we made our way to catch a bus to Victoria. Here you can see the bus arriving, and we'll see that the bus parks nicely. The driver's aware that I want to get on the bus, and so from the middle of the bus the doors will open. The ramp comes out and I'm the first to board the bus. As you can see, it's quite a tight turning circle. I don't know why these pillars are where they are, but they are, and after about 12-point turn I managed to rest myself in the bus. We arrived at Victoria and went across to the underground. This had only been open to wheelchair users for a couple of days. Again, I think one of the problems for me as a wheelchair user is the barriers. I can't use a pass, so I'm reliant on someone else to do that for me. But you can see that it looks very smart, very modern. There are a number of lifts to get down to the relevant platform, into the lift and down. You can see that as the train arrives, there's a guard waiting on the platform, ready to make sure that we get on and off okay. So the train pulls in. There's the sign on the door which tells us that this is the accessible carriage. We have to wait for people to get off. The guard is helping with the door. Because of the gap, I tend to go on the train backwards because the sturdier back wheels are much easier. So we're on the journey, and as we arrive at our destination, again I'll go off backwards. Rather than have the small wheels disappear down the very small gap, I'll have the back wheels, which don't bend, go straight off the tube. So then it's off to the lift to get up. This was Green Park, so this is our third piece of transport. We then took a nice walk in Green Park and up through Bond Street. Our last transport method was a taxi. We didn't get very far. 3 taxi drivers just drove straight past, and although we got in this taxi, you can see that I had to take my footplate off to get in. Hopefully this video by CityMaas has helped highlight some of the pain points that disabled travellers encounter when trying to use various different forms of transport. So a quick recap on the pain points for me as a disabled traveller. Ramps on trains, you always have to rely on someone else, whether it's getting on or off. Lifts, pressing the buttons, that's another problem. Barriers, that's another one. And finally, taxis in London. They seem to choose whether they want to help you or not. I found that the ramps were too short, very difficult to get in, and once you're inside there wasn't much room.